are at the end of our interview series, the 17th interview, and this is the last one with Francesca-Giulia. She is a coach to executives, and like a lot of other customers of Janis, is interested in this to help teach others. What's really unique about her story, though, is that she's not going to use it to create the visuals herself. She's already a talented artist. She's able to create these things, and I believe she says she sells them too. So it's nothing to do with actually creating the image in this case, and it's everything to do with getting inside Janis's brain and understanding how does he explain ideas visually. How does he take an emotion, a thought, a concept, and translate that into a visual idea so that she can teach others that process, because she can do it herself but can't articulate it.
And so basically what we're trying to do, it's very, very early stage research. And I'm really interested in the language that people use to describe both finding out that courses exist or that maybe they need to learn something. If you did go shopping for different courses, how you describe that, how you describe one versus another. The experience actually selecting and buying Janis's course, and then your experience using it if we have time. So the good news here is it's about language. It's your story in your own words, which means you can't get anything wrong, and there's no trick questions. If you can't remember something, it's not a problem. Just say that.
Yes.
The bad news with that, though, is I'll apologise up front, because I'll almost certainly interrupt, and it's not because I want to be rude. It's just if you use a word or a phrase, I need to make sure that I understand what it means to you rather than maybe how I might use it. So sorry if I step in.
Neil, it's totally okay. I work across cultures, and I come from Italy, where unless you interrupt, you're never going to get into a proper conversation.
Right, okay,
you need to wait until there's the imperceptible breathe in, and then you plunge and say something. No, totally.
This is good. I'm sure we'll get along. You can kind of think about this. Imagine it's like a Netflix documentary series of people who've bought a course from Janis. This will be your episode, so I might ask some kind of weird questions of me following you around with a camera as you sign up or whatever. But hopefully it'll jog your memory and make this a bit more fun. So with that in mind, then, Francesca-Giulia, could you just give me a bit of a overview of who are you? What's going on in your life? Like around the time that you've joined Janis's course, what's the kind of big picture in which your story takes place?
Yes. Let me reflect so I summarize and zoom in what might be relevant. So I work since 26 years with executives, senior leaders, and I coach them about relational leadership content. Okay. And so, of course, I'm very interested in anything that could help connect their world, their ideas, with how they share their world and their ideas, and also how they understand and listen to others.
Okay.
So, very practically, I put together a framework for sustaining our personal energy, and the article about the framework got published also by Harvard, and then it went on LinkedIn, and this is how I met Janis.
Okay.
So the interest in her course is because it helped me with his brilliant images to make visible a concept that is very often requiring a lot of words. And when it's expressed in an image, it becomes a metaphor that it helps the person to reflect. So that is why. So that, I would say, what attracted me is this ability to illustrate metaphors that are deeply connected with the topics I hear from my coachees.
Okay, that's interesting. Thanks. Illustrate metaphors with the concepts you hear from your coaches.
Mm-hmm. So, would you like an example of an image?
Yeah, why not? Let's go for it.
Yeah. So, since what I do is the framework is called recharge your batteries. So there are 5 batteries and blah blah blah. So Janis has an image where you see a bucket, and this is a metaphor I literally use, a bucket with holes, and there is water pouring through the bucket. So what I say with words is, before you recharge your batteries with lots of ideas, notice what drains your batteries, because it's like a hole in a bucket. If the holes are bigger, you can pour how much water you want. So that is written. But the moment I saw this image, it takes a second to get it, that it's important to take care first of what even our own thoughts are draining our energy, and then say how I can increase the water flow. And that is the power of images. And Janis has a lot of like time management, or the fear of failure, that really illustrate the perfectionist side. So this is what really attracted me in joining his course, this ability to translate language into metaphors that he has, and I use in a different way.
Okay, this is good. Thank you. Let me just capture. I know I'm recording it, but I like to make sure I'm following along. Okay, so if I go back up here, just make sure I'm paying attention. It's later in my day than it's yours. So you've got 26 years experience, and you're working with execs where you're coaching them about relational leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're interested in anything that helps you connect like their world and their ideas. And then you said also it helps them understand and listen to others. So what's, maybe if I'm going to ask some really stupid questions. So imagine I'm an exec of a company. Are you teaching me how to create an image like Janis creates to communicate, or are you using? Okay.
Yes, you're coming up with, you want to influence a team about a project you have. So what I am supporting you with is how to create a common language first within yourself, so you can understand really what is the idea you want to share, that is leadership, and then how you inspire others to get along or to talk about it. And even if I will not end up with drawings, all depends on the ability of the person in the early stages of any project to come up with metaphors and images that will inspire others.
Okay. So you've mentioned that you've got this recharge your batteries framework. And so therefore, if you go and see this leaky bucket, it instantly speaks to you of saying, well, of course you can't recharge your batteries if they're draining out everywhere. Are you then hoping to create those visuals to communicate this? So I guess
why on earth I enrolled if I don't want to create visuals?
Sorry?
The question is, why did I follow Janis' course?
Yeah. I guess is it more so that you can post something like this on LinkedIn and get people to see it, or is it more so you can use this visual in your work to get more traction, or is none of this?
I'm extremely curious. And Janis' course helped me to develop the ability, to further develop the ability to identify with images a concept.
Okay.
So in the end, no, actually, I hired Janis to help with something I was developing because I prefer, but no, it's he is excellent in the methodology. So the outcome is the drawing. So I was not interested in the drawing. I was interested because he has a unique ability that I don't think he realizes to share the methodology of how I can come up with an idea that becomes a metaphor, that becomes an image that is so concisely and brilliantly shared. Then somebody could do an ikebana vase or I don't know, something else. That is the way it's expressed. Janis could help me hugely to think, to go from, okay, I hear something, or I even have an idea or sort of feeling that, you know, this person is struggling with priorities. Okay. So now how I express the person to the person this struggling with priorities, so he or she can say, okay, maybe it's that, maybe it's not. And then there's a clarity that comes with images. So the images are totally internal, but the process to go from concept to image, that is very difficult to, I didn't know how to teach. I think in images. I used to sell my drawings. It's super easy for me. And then I have these very left-brained clients that go, what do you mean it's like a bubble? And I go, oh, come on. I mean, what do you mean that it's like a bubble? It's like, it's not a bubble, but, you know, it's like, imagine this. And so then since they only work with complex situations, you can describe literally a complex situations, even like prioritizing. So I was struck by the ability, the mental ability, the thinking ability of Janis to arrive at a drawing. And I thought, let me see if in his course, which he did, he explains the mental process that have him arriving at the drawings.
Okay. So I'm beginning to get it, I think, but I've probably still got some gaps in my knowledge. This then is, it sounds like you're quite an artist. You've sold your own images before. You've come up with images. So you don't need somebody to teach you how to draw. It's, you see his bucket with holes in visual, and it speaks to you in such a way that you want to understand how he came up with the idea, not how he drew the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. And the use of that idea is to communicate with your own clients who are a bit like, let's say that they're not getting it when you're describing it verbally. So that idea is going to break through to them and get them to listen to you or to act in a different way. Is that?
Yes, and they can learn it themselves. Because
themselves learn what? Learn the thought process.
Learn to look at the world through metaphors, and learn to convey their ideas through metaphors. Because their ideas are usually complex projects of, I don't know, whatever, you know, could it be right now that I'm coaching, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so and the metaphors reduce the complexity without simplifying it. Sorry for the brainy language.
No, it's great.
let's say, how are my batteries today? And I would give you, said, well, it's a very sunny moment today. And, it might sound childish, but a metaphor is the ability to summarize a lot of information. This, how am I? I'm very well, thank you. Today, brilliant. Yeah. But if I were to hold your attention, or also to talk with myself, this ability to say, oh, it's a sunny day, or fine, implies that I'm able to observe, identify what is going on, complex system, myself, in a moment. If this is for themselves, if they are conveying a project, or just a stage of a project, or even a budget proposal, because this is their reality, the very early stages is to convey it through metaphors. When they listen to others, they also need to listen to emotions and to values. And values and emotions can't be decoded unless it's a more symbolic language. So this kind of ability to attune to what are not facts and are not obvious statements is done through symbols and metaphors. And what Janis did is to explicit how he could come from a feeling, an idea, to a tangible, very down-to-earth drawing. Now, Neil, I'm not at all the usual, the normal enthusiastic student of Janis. So okay. What you're having is an odd conversation of somebody who got very passionate, because it's very usually about this kind of drawings. There are two kinds. Either I work with a professor who did her PhD on the importance of metaphors for leaders. So you can imagine the hours, years on that. She's brilliant. And then I worked with the person who illustrated my book. And he does brilliant drawings, super, same. But none of the two could tell me how they went from this, I can sense it, this is the illustrator, to I will put it into concept, and this is the professor. Because what I want is the person to understand how he or she could do it themselves. So first I want to communicate, but second I want to leave this person with this ability to sense symbols, think in images, sense emotions, and images are perfect because an image will change. It's not, it's like this person is an extrovert, or she doesn't listen. These are statements, are not very helpful. Whereas an image, would say, oh, like a tree right now in the winter, doesn't say much. Or, so does this help?
Yeah, I'm starting to see how you're using this. So that it sounds like the ability to come up with images is not a particular problem for you, but it is potentially a problem for some of your clients who you're trying to help to improve their own communication skills. And seeing Janis and his ability to translate a feeling or an idea into a drawing, it's the process that he's teaching that allows you to then go and reuse that and teach others the process yourself. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome.
This is very rare. What he does so naturally is very rare.
Okay. And you mentioned, so you bought his course, and some coaching, I think you said. In your own words, like what was it? Like if you were describing the thing you bought to somebody else, how would you describe it?
I would say it's like buying a fishing rod instead of a fish. It's an excellent method to start with, I would like to express something with drawings, with let me see how I go through the messy creative. I had a lot of ideas, and then there are some very reassuring bits that it's a lot of iterations. So it's not that think, Janis woke up with a bucket in mind. He shows the many attempts. So I would say it's definitely a very articulated fishing rod, where he shares the method, where he shares the sources, the tools. So very articulated. So I was interested in the method, but he has like templates. He has really, it's even a fishing rod is not a very good metaphor. It's a whole, do you want to do it? Well, it's a whole, I don't know what, Neil, but
Okay. When did you buy the course or join the course?
So, oh, it's funny. It was last year. It feels like so it was. Sorry?
No, I'm just trying. Is it this time last year? Is it January last year?
No, because the Harvard article came out in February, early February, and then somebody mentioned Janis' course, saying, I'm doing this thanks to Janis' course. And I thought, oh, let me check this Janis' course. So it was probably March last year. Yeah.
Okay. And what was it that you bought from him? Like, how much did you spend, and what was?
He only has one course, so I bought everything that was like a course, the only one course, and then I thought, wow, this guy is super good, and the course came with, I think, 1 hour with him. And then I thought, not only he's good, he's a very ethical and nice person. So I had extra hours with him because I was putting together another framework, and I wanted his help. And then that framework took another form, but we stayed in touch. And I want to support his work. I want to. So
back at the time, March 24, you bought everything.
That was everything. It comes down to everything. Yeah.
Can you remember roughly how much it cost?
Very little. On the top of my head, it should cost like $150. But you need to check with Janis.
Okay. No, but in your head, this is not a massive sum of money.
No. I found it super reasonable. I was even surprised it was so reasonable. I would have put easily the double, because behind I have friends who do this kind of online courses. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of time. So,
and I always ask this question to people, and it's a stupid one. So $150 to some people, that's lots and lots of money. Other people, it's nothing.
Yes.
To you, like, what does this compare to?
Oh, why I say it's a very affordable. On which base I say it's affordable? Yes, of course. In Bangladesh, that would be 3 months loan of a rather well-off worker. No, it compares to my budget, to what I earn. I live in Switzerland. It compares to what I charge hourly, and it compares to my willingness to invest in my learning. So every year I have a budget. That was not included in the budget, but it is like, to give you an idea. The budget would be like 8,000 per year on my own training, ongoing training, and
this was this was on top of that money, was it?
Yeah, I didn't. You know, some of the programs in my leadership, executive leadership training can cost 3, 4, 5, 10,000, which I no longer do. Thank you. So that wasn't even. Maybe it costed 300. I can't remember. But the fact that I can't remember, I can tell you, I remember the 3,000, the 6,000 I spent last year. This I remember because I go.
And that's always the way. You know, some people are like, "Oh, let me go and look it up." It's like, no, it's what you remember. So it was very little.
Extremely affordable, very reasonable, and very well done.
And so, if that's March 2024 that you made the decision to join the course, can you remember when did you first think that you like, hey, I've got a gap to fill in my head with some new knowledge, or whatever it was that triggered, that caused you to start looking?
Well, that started many years ago when the professor I still work with started her PhD with metaphors for leaders. And I realized that I think in metaphors, and I would like the others to decode or be able to express and find metaphors, symbols for what is going on around them. And I realized, yeah, okay, I can do it. People can write about it. But how do I create a fishing rod for the others? That is the majority of people I coach. So, so I would say, if I were to answer something more universal, it was an ongoing, I was already searching and could not find yet, because the person who illustrated my book, who is a lovely person, works like a very highly paid visual artists for global companies. So he will arrive and put in drawings a board meeting. And everybody, it's like I worked with him, is like, whoa, like that. But he can't tell how he does it. He would say, yes, I don't know, I put that dark spot there, that smiley there. And everybody thought, that's it, And I go, okay, well, you do it, but we are back to the same attitude. I can do it, you can do it, but we can't share it.
So this is almost, by the sounds of things, a very long-standing thing. I've got a professor that I've worked with that talks about these visual metaphors. I've got this ability to come up with them myself, and I'm working with a book illustrator who does this seemingly spontaneously, but we can't get that out of our head and into the hands of others.
Yes.
Okay. And so I think you mentioned a friend had taken Janis's course or something like that. At what point in this journey does Janis or anybody else come into it where you sort of find out that there's a course that exists? Like how do I even know?
Yes, so this is the power of referral. So the HBR article got poof on LinkedIn, and all of a sudden I was flooded with all these messages. And one was from another visual artist, Roberto Ferraro, who happens to be extremely good. And he endorsed. So I started, he liked my thing, he got in touch, he became a member of my LinkedIn group. And I thought, who's this guy? Oh, maybe he could teach me. I was still looking, he could teach me. No, Roberto does not teach. But by following his posts, he's very appreciative about Janis, and they still work together. So the moment I found, I don't know, in a post, and I learned this thanks to Janis, I thought, who is this Janis? So the power of endorsement, and I only follow LinkedIn, so I'm not very present on social media, but the advantage of what Janis does is that it's a very visible product. If an image is good, an image is good. Everybody can say, okay, it resonates with me. And Roberto's images are excellent. And I thought, wow, if he's endorsing somebody else and he did the course, let me check this course. So endorsement is super important, especially even more when the product is visible. And like Roberto has, 30,000 followers. I got lost track. And I was like, yeah, they have a whole city following them. Somewhere, everybody. But anyway, this is how it happened.
Okay. Now this Harvard Business Review article sounds like it's a very important part of this story. How does it relate to this stuff? So what was it, just that this is connected to the types of images that Roberto and Janis post, or was it that you put it out there and you got publicity?
Yeah, it's a good point, Neil. The Harvard Business Review, it's a key point for leaders. So the fact that the article got published there, of course, then it gets a post on LinkedIn and ta-ta. So I think by chance, since Roberto is very active on social media, he found this 5 batteries, how to recharge your 5 batteries or whatever, quite appealing, I can only imagine. So I had a lot of people contacting me. And he attracted my attention because I was still looking for this, teacher of images.
Okay. The 5 batteries framework itself, though, this doesn't have images within it that you've created or that you've paid somebody to create. The images aren't part of that story.
Yeah, no. It has the article. No, because it's Harvard. It has somebody levitating on the grass.
Right. Okay.
And I said, look, I think this is my next book, How to Levitate on the Grass. But I can tell you this is not. No, the book has all the images of the visual artist that works for me. But the article, was super poor. It's not
so
even
the book is also related to the framework.
Yeah.
And that's been illustrated by a proper illustrator who can put this stuff up, but he can't explain it.
Yeah.
The HBR article is to promote the book.
No, the book came out in French many years ago. The updated edition in English came up 2 years ago. No, the article came because I work with leaders. And another professor told me, why don't you write? And I love writing. I like a lot of articles. She said, well, why don't we write another article and we pitch it to HBR? And I go, whoa, why? Well, because it's prestigious. And I go, okay. But actually it put me in touch with a lot of very interesting people. So why do it? Because it's very Popov, in terms of.
So you weren't keen on doing it. You've been sort of bullied into writing the article. You like writing articles anyway. And then by the sounds of things, it's gone out and it has blown up and it's got all of this attention. Yeah. Did you want the attention, or did the attention you said you don't really like social media? So
what I found very interesting is that the attention got me in touch with very interesting people. Okay. And since I like writing anyway, I realized, oh wow, I can be present on social media via my articles, but not by posting, because the moment it happened again with another article. posted by the business school, it was reposted 24 times. It had, I don't know how many comments, which means I spent 2 weeks answering, thanking, liking the comments, following up the direct messages and saying, bless them all, because many were also my former clients.
Yeah.
And I'm back to writing articles. But this is me. This has nothing to do with this call. It's more like, yes, I want to write, but and I know that endorsement on LinkedIn by a peer is a very powerful, by a very respected peer. This is Roberto, is a very powerful way to propose a course.
Okay. So this is almost a side issue. So you posted something HBR. It just so happens that.
Oh yes, totally random, and I'm so glad. Yeah.
You're only active on LinkedIn, but it doesn't sound like you want all of this engagement. It's just this byproduct of it appearing on HBR. However, the connections that have come from this are useful.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Roberto's there, and so you started looking at his visuals. Is that right? And then you found out that he was taught by Janis, and therefore you wanted to go back to Janis.
About it. And he said, if you really want a good course, check this out. This is how I learned.
Okay. And this has happened then relatively quickly. So did you sign up immediately that you saw the course, or did it take some deliberation?
No, I can't remember, but knowing myself, I act fast. See, and plus, I'm curious, so I clicked on the link. I thought, seems well done, very reasonable. But this is not how I bought my other leadership online programs. The other leadership online, I either read the book, got interested in the person, went to this kind of Mind Valley Academy and other places. So there I did my own research, but this kind, so Janis' book course was a one-off that I got. Yeah.
And you said it seemed well done. So, you've been recommended from Roberto, you've landed on there. What was it that seemed well done about it?
It seemed so that was before I bought it. It seemed well done. It's like, okay, it seems to cover what I was referring before, how to start, where to start. And I go, good point, because how to start, it's already difficult. So he had some, let me think, the titles of the chapters echoed the creation, what in my mind are the key moments of creations. And I go, oh, okay, he knows what we're talking about. Then in the overview, I realized he was offering a lot of extra resources that were beyond the method. So he was saying, if you want to go, and then it has all these programs I don't understand, and then you can find a tablet with a list that I also don't understand, but it doesn't matter. And I go, for a visual artist, this is important. So it was key moments, the ability to capture what in my head are the key moments of creations, and the abundance of 360 resources, and a sense of, and that was also important. And this is referring to Janis as a person, that when I watched one of his videos online, he cares. He's somebody who is really happy to share.
Okay.
And that for me, I thought, wow, what a cool guy. Now, this is not important for everybody. I mean, I can learn from But I thought,
why is it so important to you?
sorry, it's
Why is it?
important because of the nature and of the content. I learned an online extremely good 3 courses on negotiation from a former FBI hostage negotiator, because I work with humanitarian negotiators in war zones. So I was interested in this. And he's extremely good, cold as an ice cube, but super professional. I learned techniques. So bless him. Bought all the courses available, 3 courses. This ability to translate a something into symbols and images needs a heart. It can't be shared. So let me put maybe something more translatable. For the topic, Janis embodied the person that I wanted as a teacher.
Okay. So if I'm maybe trying to play this back, I'm trying to work with executives who, by the sounds of things, might well be the opposite of Janis.
Yes, that's a very good point. Yes.
I'm trying to teach them how to think like he thinks, and I want to learn how he thinks because I can't explain how my own brain is coming up with this stuff. And so therefore, there's kind of a happy circle of he's the right person to do this job because he's the opposite of the people I'm trying to teach it to. Is that right?
Yeah. Janis is connected with his very brilliant mind and very warm heart. My clients, they have a big heart, I want to believe, but they're no longer connected with their heart. And when we are talking about images, sensing, sharing, that connection is the base of creativity. When there is no connection with the heart, the creativity is very linear. It's very factual.
That makes sense. So back at that time, you obviously had the recommendation from Roberto. You've landed on the course. You've seen Janis looks like he's got this connection with his heart. And he's got his ability. When you signed up, what were you hoping for?
To be able to have left brain words to describe a creative process, what ended up being a creative process. So I could convey this creativity, this willingness, because my clients want innovations, want agility, want whatever you hear, these pop words. That start with a certain inner attitude. So I was hoping to find some insights about how to be more creative. And then I love drawing, so I thought, oh, who knows, maybe I will create my own metaphors, which in the end turned up not to be my interest, because I draw whimsical animals. It's totally different. They make you smile, nothing to do. But I anyway thought it was so this is what I was hoping to find, and I found it 10 times more. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Something you could also add, because I didn't know at the time, but now I know it. I've ended up founding a mini virtual community of people where I can talk or I can listen that have a similar way to look at images and everything. So I would say I did not realize that this would be a benefit. So Janis came up with something that he already discontinued, an online paying something for a community that I immediately sponsored and bought. So it was the community that would allow exchanges and peer support with like-minded people. Now, they were all professionals and I'm not, but hey, who cares? I always work with people who are much more knowledgeable than me in topics I don't know much about. So
if I'm hearing you right, it doesn't sound like that was what you were expecting when you bought it.
No.
That was a side benefit of joining that. Oh, look at this as a whole community of people who are just like me, who are helpful, like-minded, and share things.
Yeah, I'm mentioning it because probably somebody who joins a course is more likely to have this already more present or less absent.
Yeah.
Because for me it was totally absent, but actually now, yes, I hope Janis will do another community. When he sent this email to say, would you like, I answered within minutes. Of course, whatever supports you, please keep on working. Yeah.
Cool. When you signed up for this course, you said you make the decision pretty quickly. You act quickly. Were you worried about anything at all or not?
So worried for the amount of time and money? No. That if let me think with the hat of somebody who's joining, a little bit like me joining, but less.
Oh no, you don't need to come up with how others would feel. It's more if you've joined yourself and you've looked and said, for that amount of time and money, no worries at all. That's fine.
Oh yes, I like to learn. I'm curious. I thought, well, no worries. No concerns. It's like, yeah.
And one of the interesting things here for me is, I think when you said you've joined this course, let's have a look. I've got this. So you love drawing, and you thought, maybe I'll create some of these things too. You paid to join the course and get Janis's feedback on them, but you joined to learn the process. Like,
no,
I understand how these go together.
No, I joined the course, and then when which included a conversation or two conversations with Janis. So I went back. When we started, I had to explain him, no, I'm actually not a visual artist. I am. So he went through what we are going through. Why on earth are you here? Happy, how can I support you? Okay, well, nothing with that. If anything, I'm more happy to pay you to develop something, but right now I'm more in the thinking. So no, actually, Janis saw my whimsical drawings more as a thank you note. You will get one too, but never as because I realized that right now what I want to share it is not that. Plus, I enjoy my fantastic animals. It relaxes me. If I have to do a metaphor, it looks like constraining for my creativity, and I thought, no, I'll start to resist it. Like my inner child was already screaming, you will not get me there, so.
That's a really interesting one. So basically, I like drawing, but actually these types of drawings are going to drain me, whereas the types of drawings I draw are building me up. And
I sell them, and I have fun, or I don't sell them, and I offer them, and then it's there's no goal. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's great. Okay. And so obviously you've joined this course, and you didn't really need this kind of one-on-one coaching, but it came with it anyway. Did you learn anything in the one-on-one coaching, or was it just nice to get to know somebody?
Oh, no. I learned a lot, because you imagine I sort of interviewed Janis. Tell me more. I started to say, you're extremely good. Are you aware? No, he's very modest. I learned. So what I was interested in learning was more his mental process, but I would say in the one-to-one sessions, what is precious is that the person learns, can focus on his or her needs. This is what I do with my clients. So I happen to have slightly different needs than the other clients from Janis, but what he was very able to offer me is a quick recalibration. Oh, she's a bit different. It doesn't matter. This is what she asked, and this is what he was very fast to assess. Okay, odd duck. I have something for the odd ducks. Now for odd ducks, you're odd ducks number 12. Okay, fine. So
even though you weren't reviewing your artwork or whatever, you got to ask him questions and got to dig in deep on the things that you wanted answered.
Yeah, how can I support you? Do you want to have some images? Are you developing something you would like my feedback? And I said none of the previous, and then like that. Yeah,
okay, that's cool. Was it worth it?
Totally. I would love him to have like 3 online courses. No. It's like when I say I bought everything, the one course was everything.
Yeah. That's great. Look, thank you. I've asked some probably stupid questions, I'm sure, and that's like my usual style. What have I missed? What does a smart person like yourself think that's important about your story that perhaps I've not covered?
Oh, smart person like myself is like my feathers go.
HBR published author. I mean, look at this.
Well, I have a brain.
Opportunity to learn.
No, what my remark would be, was it useful? Because I'm aware that that might not be what would help your survey to thrive. So it doesn't matter about my smart feathers.
It's very useful. So you're the last person that we're interviewing here, and one of the few that's paid for the top tier product that Janis offers. And so you have a unique story. Obviously, when we very first started this, talking to Janis about it, I think his big concern. So the way I interview people, I try and do sort of 12 of these. I think this will be our 15th. So we've kind of expanded it. And his worry was we would get 12 unique individual stories.
Oh no! Hopefully you have patterns.
And what would you do with it?
Yeah.
And actually, what I find, if I abstract it enough, then we'll fit you into a group with other like-minded people.
Yes.
And so the way you're using this isn't for your own personal images. However, I just got off a call with a lady earlier on, and it was the thought process that she wanted to learn, not the artistic process. And so you still see common patterns of it, and it's it's like more about understanding how somebody's thinking, and the reason you're wanting to understand that is to teach it to somebody else, whereas she wanted to understand it so she could use it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of good enough.
Same patterns. It's the thinking behind that.
What's interesting to me is that you mentioned something earlier on about how, drawing these things, this is draining to me, whereas my whimsical drawings are energizing. And yet I found other people who we've interviewed who presumably end up in other buckets who want to do this because they find it energizing. It's like, writing slides is really painful.
Yes.
I don't know because I haven't run the analysis. But you've certainly shared some common themes with others. What I love about this is when we do analyze it, I'll see who joins who in the different groups, and then I'll see some other pattern that I completely missed during 15 or 16 interviews with real people. So yes, it's been a real pleasure to have a chat, and thank you for that. And just on that, I know I said at the start, I'm publishing all of this research live. Would it be okay for us to publish this video as part of the research?
Yes.
That's excellent. Thank you so much. That really helps. So and I'll share it with you in case you're interested to see what.
Oh yes,
what
please let me know if I can support you and Janis in any ways. What the depending on the findings and the approach you take, for me, this creativity is very linked with innovation. You know, the innovation all my clients want and keep the pace with the change and everything. So if there's anything I can link this or pass this findings, maybe in an article with Janis, to the attention of leaders, because if I'm not even sure he's interested, but he could put together as like it's not how to become more creative for senior leaders, but you know, something along that line.
It's the purpose of what I'm trying to do. So I learned this a few years ago. I've used it in my own work, and now we're launched a business where we offer this kind of interview and analysis service. I thought I'd help Janis to grow his course of revenue, because obviously then that'll help me promote what we're doing. And obviously I have no idea what we'll find, but I love doing it because I get to listen and learn from people all over the world. And for us, it's once you understand what customers want. Yeah. For me, my innovative brain can latch on to that.
Yes.
Because then I can think back, oh, well, I talked to this person or that person, and I can kind of like almost be the understudy of them in their own life. And then it helps you pick the right things. Visually wise, Janis has been trying to help me. I'm the least artistic person you ever meet. And I have something called aphantasia. So maybe some of your clients have the same thing. It's if you close your eyes and imagine, the test for it is imagine an apple.
Okay. Okay, there's written apple.
Well, I don't know. If you think of an apple, what do you see? Or do you see anything?
Yeah. Yes. Well, no, for me, I already have a story around the apple and the colors. And I can say how it smells and whatever. What about you?
No, if I close my eyes or open my eyes, I have a complete black screen. I can't even imagine my mum's face or my wife's face or anything like that. So it's like someone's turned the screen off. I can feel it. I know what shape it is. I know what it smells like.
Okay, so it's only the visual channel.
Yeah,
so
it's just
kinesthetic channel, olfactory channel, auditive. Yeah.
Oh, I can walk around a house in the dark and I don't need to bump into things. I know where everything is. I just couldn't imagine what it looked like. It's very strange.
Wow, how beautiful.
Well, we're all different. So.
Wow, I never thought about this because I'm not very musical. So in a sense, all my fluency with visuals, when I have music and it's not da 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 dee, da 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 dee, this I can really follow. But the moment there are two instruments, I get and then if there are four, everything goes black.
I must be the opposite because my wife plays lots of music on loop and it drives me mad because songs get stuck in my head and it just plays. It's like it plays on loop. So I can hear every note and every.
Because you're more auditive, but our society is very visual. Because visual, if I tell you an apple, well, it looks as if I'm very smart because everybody understands the apple. If you hear music, which is much more refined and more actually describing how reality is, because the apple is never an apple, it's a vibrational apple that becomes a banana that was never neither a banana nor an apple. So the vibrational reality of our society is less obvious to share and less rewarded.
Well, I never knew I had this until I was in my 40s. I read somewhere that it existed, and I just thought, when people say, "Oh, imagine, in your mind's eye" or whatever, and people were talking about imagining an image, I just thought it was a figure of speech.
Channel, because you have 5 channels. So, well, at least you learned, because otherwise.
That's why I tell people about it, because I find it. I'm like, well, it might be interesting to somebody else. I don't know what I do with it. It doesn't really impact me that much, but yeah, it's quite a.
Oh no, actually, Neil, this is something I'm developing with another professor, is because in complex situations, the visuals are not helping. The visuals need to become a sort of fluid, something that is much, much closer to music. So for any cognitive reflection on a complex situation, the visuals are not helping because they are too constrictive. It's a sort of music. When you relate with people in crisis or war zones, you don't go in very images. You go more in feelings and more like a certain music. So it's like you have the advanced course implemented in your, the advanced channel implemented in you, and the basic channel, which is the visuals that most of us have, is not so easily accessible. So, but you can access the advanced course, which took me years to advance, to hear this music, because I can dance it. Okay, I can dance it.
Oh, I can't dance.
Some colors. Well, I stumbled in the dark.
I'm British. You never want to see a British person dance. The two left feet.
Well,
it's been great talking to you. Really, I've loved every minute of it. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and sounds like you're such a great supporter of Janis and his work. So yeah, it's been a real pleasure, and I'll let you know when we publish this. And of course, if you see something you say, "Oh, that's not right," please feel free to correct us. Perfect.
Thank you, Neil. Rest well, from all these interactions. Bye.
Oh no, this energizes me.
Well, I'm glad. Bye. Bye.
Cheers. Bye. Okay, so that's it. Wrapping up the interviews of somebody who's bought the most expensive version, and now we've only got one of these in the bag. Obviously, I'm another one, but I don't know. I can't interview myself. She doesn't remember the price of this. It's 100 and something euros. It's nothing by comparison to the $3,000 to $10,000 professional courses that she's used to taking. She got 8,000 euros in the personal development budget that she spends a year, and this isn't even in it. It's like an amount of money that's not worth thinking about. Once she found somebody, this is what I often see, like buying something new is like going on a quest. Now, some of these quests are pretty boring, short, and unsubstantial. Others are like hers, would last a very, very long time. This has been going on since, by the sounds of things, the university with professors and things like that. And I've got this, I've got this skill, but I don't know how I've got the skill. And so therefore, how do I teach it to somebody else? And so then when she sees somebody like Janis, who's had the ability, not only does he teach this, but he also has taught somebody else, Roberto, who's then used it and created impressive visuals. That draws her in, saying, "This is what I want to know. I want to learn the process here." I'll be interested to see what group she ends up in, because we've got quite a few people who are looking to learn the process now. And it sounds like the journey is worth more to some people than the destination of having those visuals. So that's quite an interesting and enlightening story. Hopefully everybody liked it. Analysis to follow. Cheers.
Okay, so that's the very last one. Next up, there'll be a video on the four forces analysis, and then we'll be moving on to the actual analysis of the whole group of interviewees, where we show you how to actually take and make sense of this insight and turn it into something that Janis can act upon. And that's when we pull the different interviewees into different groups, where each different group has a different job to be done. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed Francesca-Giulia's story, and looking forward to sharing more. Cheers.